Imagine walking straight into a luxury car dealership. You buy a gorgeous, high-tech electric vehicle for $100,000. But right before you drive off the lot, the company hands you the keys alongside a briefcase. Inside that briefcase is $200,000 of their own cold, hard cash. That was literally the reality of Lucid Motors. At its absolute peak, this company was valued at a staggering $90 billion. Their flagship vehicle won MotorTrend's prestigious MotorTrend Car of the Year award. It beat out every luxury competitor on the planet. But behind the scenes, the math was completely broken. At its worst production bottleneck, Lucid was losing an estimated $300,000 to $400,000 on every single vehicle it delivered. Even as they scaled up manufacturing, the financial bleeding did not stop. They were still losing over $100,000 per car. Fast forward to early 2025, and the empire has completely collapsed. Their stock price is cratered by a devastating 96%. They are drowning in factory overhead, burning billions in cash, and watching their visionary leadership completely walk out the door. How did the ultimate Tesla killer turn into a multi-billion-dollar economic nightmare? How do you build the best electric car in the world, but fail to actually sell it? The answer is a wild story of a brutal pricing trap, catastrophic factory economics, and a desperate race to survive. Welcome back to the Boardroom Guy. Today, we are breaking down the spectacular rise, the painful crash, and the delusional path to profitability of Lucid Motors. Our story begins in the year 2007. A tiny startup named Ativa launched in California. It was founded by true tech elites, including former Tesla vice president Bernard Tisi. From day one, they focused on advanced battery packs and electric powertrains. Their tech was so impressive that it caught global attention. In 2018, Saudi Arabia's public investment fund poured $1 billion into the startup. With massive sovereign wealth backing them, they rebranded as Lucid Motors. They hired Peter Rawlinson as their chief executive officer. Rawlinson was not just a regular corporate executive. He was the former chief engineer for the Tesla Model S. He knew exactly how Elon Musk built an empire. And he openly promised to build a car that Tesla simply could not build. Then came the wild stock market mania of 2021. The entire financial world went completely crazy for electric vehicle startups. Investors were throwing billions of dollars at companies that had not even built a single vehicle. Lucid capitalized on the hype perfectly. They went public through a massive SPAC merger. The market instantly valued this unproven startup at a jaw-dropping $60 billion. In September of 2021, production officially started on their first car, the Lucid Air Dream Edition. It was an absolute engineering masterpiece. It featured an industry-leading range of over 500 miles per charge. MotorTrend instantly crowned it the 2022 Car of the Year. For a brief moment, Lucid's market value surged past Ford. Wall Street analysts claimed the stock would triple. But Rawlinson had made one fatal strategic mistake. He chose to target the elite Mercedes S-Class buyer. The Dream Edition launched with an eye-popping price tag of $169,000. They built a magnificent car for the ultra-rich, but they completely ignored the average American buyer. There is a brutal reality in the automotive world. Hand-building a few beautiful prototypes is an engineering challenge. Scaling a massive automated factory is a financial death trap. Lucid built a gigantic, state-of-the-art factory in Casa Grande, Arizona. The facility had the structural capacity to pump out 90,000 vehicles every single year. Corporate executives originally promised investors they would produce 20,000 cars in 22. But then reality hit hard. Supply chain chaos, logistics bottlenecks, and manufacturing errors collided all at once. Management panicked and slashed their production targets from 20,000 down to just 6,000 vehicles. This production collapse triggered the economics of absolute doom. An automotive factory carries massive, immovable, fixed overhead costs. You have to pay for electricity, robotics maintenance, and facility rent regardless of how many cars you build. Because Lucid only built 6,000 cars, those massive factory costs were spread across a tiny number of vehicles. This made each individual car catastrophically expensive to manufacture. In early 2024, Lucid's average selling price was $90,000, but it cost the company over $200,000 to build every single car. They were burning billions of dollars just to keep the lights on. To fix this, Lucid tried to target the average American consumer. In 2023, they launched their cheapest trim, the Lucid Air Pure. But their definition of affordable was completely out of touch. The Air Pure launched at $77,000. That is more than a house down payment for most families. 90% of the population was instantly priced out. Even after they cut the price to $70,000, sales barely budged. In 2025, they tried rushing their new Gravity SUV to market to save the company. But history simply repeated itself. The premium version cost $95,000 and the standard version cost $80,000. By the end of 2025, the macro environment got even worse. The United States federal EV tax credit was completely terminated. Overall EV demand plummeted by 36% year over year. Lucid produced 18,000 vehicles in 25, but could only sell 16,000 of them. Thousands of unsold luxury cars began piling up outside their Arizona factory, rotting in the desert sun. The company burned through $2.9 billion in 2024. In 2025, that cash burn accelerated to a terrifying $3.8 billion. They were bleeding cash faster than any startup in history. Under normal market conditions, Lucid Motors would have declared total bankruptcy years ago. The only reason the company is still breathing is because of one single entity, the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund. To date, the Saudis have pumped nearly $10 billion into Lucid. They currently own 54% of the entire company. Saudi Arabia is using its oil wealth to diversify its economy for the future, but right now they are massively underwater on this investment. The operational pressure has completely fractured Lucid's leadership. Their chief financial officer, Sherry House, resigned abruptly. Then, in early 25, visionary CEO Peter Rawlinson officially left the company. The era of big promises was over. In March of 26, the new management team held a desperate 3-hour investor day. They presented a highly questionable path to profitability. They promised to launch 2 cheaper compact SUVs called the Lucid Cosmos and the Lucid Earth by 27, priced under $50,000, but they did not even show investors a working prototype or a basic CGI rendering. Worse, they claimed they would unlock Level 4 fully autonomous robo-taxis by 29 to generate subscription revenue. This is from a company whose current driver assist tech is a decade behind Tesla. Experts openly called the presentation completely absurd. As of right now, Lucid has about $4.6 billion in total remaining liquidity. According to their own internal corporate data, this cash will only last until the first half of 27. After that, they must beg for more money. But the Saudi backstop is finally hitting its own limits. The Saudi government is currently running a massive budget deficit. Geopolitical conflict has forced their state oil giant, Aramco, to cut output due to shipping blockades. They recently had to scale back their own futuristic megacity project, The Line, because it cost too much cash. Lucid built a technologically flawless vehicle, but they completely failed to build a functional business. If the Saudi Wealth Fund decides to stop writing checks in 27, the ultimate Tesla killer will officially run out of road. That is all for today's breakdown from the Boardroom Guy. Smash that subscribe button, drop a comment below with your thoughts on Lucid's survival, and we will see you in the next boardroom meeting.